after leaving Take That, I said some very unfair things about the boys and did some stupid stuff that, you know, I don't regret because I was only very young and was hurting a lot. But I think that, you know, my actions were questionable after I left the band towards, you know, I didn't say anything nice about any of them, apart from Mark. I seem to think that my mum heard about it on the radio station one morning and sent my CV off, which of course was extensive. My work at the Rep. And have you seen my Dodger? I was fantastic. And she sent the CV off, and then I got a call, I believe, from Nigel Martin Smith to go up and be interviewed. And only two things I can remember was my mum coming with me, which was slightly embarrassing because none of the other lads there had their mums with them. And none of the rest to Take That were at this particular interview or audition. And the other thing I can remember was feeling incredibly intimidated and nervous about going into this guy's office. And then he didn't do anything to put that at ease in any way. You know, he's a formidable character. And I remember being incredibly scared of him. But I can remember thinking, you know, well, I was cheeky chappy, I suppose, even then. So I went and had that original meeting. Then I went for the audition. That was right. I went back from Wales to the audition. And my mum dropped me off again, and I was like, Mum, don't walk up the street with me. Go on, go off. And as I looked up, there was another lad having exactly the same conversation with his mum. Mum, leave it now. And as we got to get closer, it was like, I am Rob, and he said, I am Mark, and that was Mark Owen. And we walked down the Carge nightclub stairs into the club itself, and I can remember thinking, right, Manchester, because Manchester was a big, big town at the time. For me, you know, it was like, we're in Manchester. Wow, look at this, it's a big city. So I came in and I walked round and I saw this guy, and I'm a real trainer snob, sneaker snob, absolute snob. You know, and I walked in and there was this guy with, I've got to say, a Morrissey haircut. And I was thinking, twat. and now I'm not, you know. It's like I tried to have it cut the same today, and it was Gary, and he got blonde hair, I seem to remember, and he got these Converse 100s on with an Italia 90 jumper, if I seem to remember correctly. And I just looked at his trainers and I thought, knob. And he got this briefcase, and in this briefcase was a load of dots, musical scores for different songs and stuff. Hiya, I'm Gary. And I met him, and then there was only Howard came late. Sorry, Nigel, sorry. And Nigel didn't seem to mind. That's weird. Didn't seem to mind. Howard had a lovely body. And so Howard came in late, and I remember Jay, and he'd been on the hit Man and Her, and I was very, very impressed with that. Not only that, but I was so in awe that he could breakdance and breakdance so well, and he used to be in a breakdancing group that I knew about. And then there was this other lad that was really into the Smiths, and he came from Stoke-on-Trent. He was the only other lad there, I seem to remember. He had a pair of Dr. Martens on up to here, and he couldn't dance and couldn't sing. Not that that should stop him. But he didn't. He sort of had the wallflower kind of attitude and kind of charisma, you know. He was definitely an indie kind of kid. He got sent away early, and then the rest of us did Nothing Can Divide Us, then danced a bit, and then did some routines that Nigel watched, and I just really, really was so nervous. And I think Debbie, his business partner, came down. I can't remember. Anyway, did the audition, went home. Howard had an amazing sense of humour, absolutely amazing. He used to have me in hysterics all the time, and I loved him when he was on form. You know, I loved him, but I mean, I loved to hear him making funny comments or making funny noises, because he was genuinely the funny member of the band, and also he had an amazing voice, and he's got amazing musical ability. He can harmonise to anything, and he's got amazing rhythm, and I always thought that he'd be an amazing songwriter. He also could dance really, really well, and had great hair. Jason, me and him bumped heads all the time, and having been sent the backstage footage just recently, like 60 hours worth of or something, I was watching it. I watched a lot of it, and I was just an annoying little sod. At the best of times, I was annoying. At the worst of times, I suppose I could make them titter every now and again. And Jason took a barrage of just piss taking and winding up from me, to the point of really pushing it over the edge. And I'm sure, that if we weren't working so hard and we got things to do, he would have battered me. He should have, in all rights, Jason should have battered me for how bloody rude I was to him, to tell you the truth. But he was so easy to wind up. I couldn't help it. And the thing is about winding people up is that the more it riles them, the more, they've got the bait. We've got to wind them in now. And I'm sure he'll say, but you gave it, but you couldn't take it. Perhaps I couldn't. But with Jay, he took an awful lot of battering from me verbally. But Jay's a good man. He's a good man. And I hope whatever he's up to, he's doing well at it, and he's feeling happy. Because he's one of the best dancers I've ever seen or met. I did bring into question, once I left Take That, and subsequently ever since, Gary Barlow's merits as a songwriter. And I actually downloaded all the Take That albums a few months ago and listened to all of them, and I remember at the time genuinely thinking, after I'd left anyway and I wanted to become Oasis, I remember thinking, he's a genuinely crap songwriter, But as time's gone by and a bit of maturity has come to me, and basically the folly of trying to be something that I'm not has slipped away. You look back at his songs and he's an amazing songwriter. He had deserved and deserves the recognition he had for the talent he has. There's classic pop songs all the way through every album, and he delivered one after another, and hats off to him. He is an amazing talent.